Hey, it's Mike from Mike's Gun World. We are going to do an episode today on a couple of 98Ks, some German Mauser 98K carabiners from World War II. Before we get started, if you're liking our content, you're liking our channel, please hit like, subscribe, share, leave some comments down below. We're a new channel. We just crossed over the 400 subscriber mark. We're going to try to push that up to 1,000 if we can, but all of your support is really important and very much appreciated. That being said, let's get to it. Welcome back to Mike's Gun World. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the Mauser 98K, or the carabiner 98K that was used by the Germans during World War II. I've got a couple pieces in my collection. This one with the darker stock I've had for quite a number of years. It's a very nice piece. The rifling is great in here. I do like to shoot it from time to time. One of the things that devalues these German firearms is what's non-matching serial numbers, right? So the Germans had a propensity to stamp a lot of their different parts with the same serial number. So if you happen to find one of these with all matching serial numbers, the value of it, as long as it's in decent, very good, decent, very good, excellent condition, can go, through the roof if it's all matching. What happened though, in the battles, especially on the Eastern Front, these rifles were damaged in battle, recovered, and they came to an armorer in the rear area. And then that armorer would kind of piece the rifle back together with whatever parts and pieces were left and try to get it back into action. So this rifle up here is pretty heavily mismatched. That's still a great piece. Still a nice representation of 98K, but mismatched numbers. The one down here with the lighter stock, the more blonde stock, is almost all matching numbers. And I had just found this gun over the weekend and purchased it. I got really excited because all the serial numbers appeared to be matching until I got right up here at this front barrel band, and of all things to not be matching serial number was over on this side. Everything's 4417, and then right here on the barrel band, it's a non-matching number. Still a very nice piece. It's got a couple other issues in the stock. There are some weird sort of repairs done to it. There's 5. I don't really understand what they are. I do think the stock is original. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. And then the other thing that sort of struck me as odd, and I need to do a little bit of research because this is a rarer model of the 98K. Typically the bolt is blued, and as you can see, this one is not. It's got more of a polished finish to it. So I got to figure out what that is and why it is that way. I haven't done all the research on it yet. But on the receivers, there are stamps on the receivers to tell you where and when these rifles were manufactured. So in my original, right here, it says BNZ 42. So we know the rifle was manufactured in 1942. And then BNZ is a designated 3-letter code for the Steyr Works in Austria. So this gun was built in Steyr, Austria in 1942. And something else that really supports that this is the original stock, at least, is the wood from the Steyr Works typically had these sort of red veins running through it. So this lower stock all looks like it was part of the original rifle. The upper handguard, however, it's got a slightly different finish to the wood, so that could have been replaced too, along with some of the other parts. The bolt is not a matching number and things like that. So the gun obviously went through one of those repair depots in the rear and sort of pieced back together. And probably put back out into the war and then captured and somehow ended up here in the United States and in my hands. The receiver code on this other one is really cool. It's DUV, and it's dated 1941. So DUV is the three-letter code for the Leubeck Berliner manufacturing plant in Leubeck, Germany, which was in the northeast of Hanover. This is a much rarer rifle, and with all matching numbers and a stock that wasn't kind of screwed up the way it is, this could be a very, very, very high value gun. It's in great shape. The barrel is good. The rifling is good. I've had my bore scope down there. But there is one other place that the Germans would put their serial number, and that is on the firing pin. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take out the bolt. We're going to take the bolt apart. And we're going to get a look at that firing pin and see if it's a 4417. If it is, then we're really only down to the front barrel band that doesn't have a matching number. So let's get to work and take down the bolt. See what the firing pin says. Who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky. Okay, so let's get to getting the bolt out and taking it down. The first thing you want to do is be able to get the safety latch up in the center position, and the only way to do that is to really set the firing pin. Then we can get the safety into this middle position right here like this. Then we want to take the bolt out and pull on the bolt stop right here, and the bolt will slide right out. Oops, will slide right out. And there we have our bolt out. The next thing we want to take off is the extractor. And there is an extractor collar in here with two clips that are actually holding it in place. And there's a groove right here that's holding the extractor in place. And what you want to do is push down really hard right back here and pop the extractor up out of that groove and then push it forward. Sometimes you got to turn it a little bit just to get it off the extractor collar, like that. And there, our extractor is off. This is the extractor collar right here, and the two prongs are actually holding it in place right here in these grooves on the extractor. The next thing we want to do is remove the bolt sleeve. And the bolt sleeve has a little push button here on the side. This actually screws off. You want to push that button in and start turning it. You have to push it in twice, and then you just spin the bolt sleeve right off. And out comes your firing pin and your firing pin spring all in one group. Your bolt is now empty. You can put that aside. And here's where the cool little tool on the rear stock of the 98K comes into play. What we want to do is, let's get that on camera so we can see it. We're going to take our firing pin and we're going to put it right through this little tool back here. And what we want to do now is we're going to put some pressure, we're going to put a lot of pressure actually on the bolt sleeve to get what's called the cocking piece out. So we're going to compress the spring, turn the cocking piece, and that just pops right off. You want to be careful because you're under spring pressure. Bring it up, bring the sleeve up slowly. Now our spring is off, or our sleeve is off. And take the spring out, and there is our firing pin. And we have a serial number on this side right here, and it is not 4417, it's 7928. So that's okay. We got a gun with almost all matching numbers. It would have really been cool if the firing pin was 4417 to match the rest, and we would have just had the front barrel band that wasn't, but it it is what it is. It's still a really nice piece. And as you can see, actually taking the bolt apart is pretty simple. So let's go ahead and do this in reverse, put it back together and get it in the gun. There's a couple of flat spots on the side of the firing pin here. We want them going in this direction so we can get the bolt sleeve on, because the bolt sleeve itself also has those notches inside. So we want to get this onto the firing pin, and again, we're going to really put some pressure on the spring and push this down, and then we're going to get the cocking piece in place, turn it, and it's going to hold the bolt sleeve in place. There, we're practically put back together. We just want to slide the whole firing pin and everything back into the actual bolt, and then screw it back on. And you have to push the button once, and then the second time around, you're going to listen for an audible click, and that means it's seated correctly. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to get the extractor back in place. So we're going to place it onto the collar here, put pressure back here on the back of it, and slide it, snap it right into the channel here, and our extractor is in place. That's all there is to it. It's really not that hard to take one of these down. Let's get this back in the rifle. I'm going to slide it in. The bolt stop automatically moves out of the way. We have to push down on the magazine so the bolt will go in. And since we did set the firing pin, we got to turn safety off, pull the trigger. There you go. That is how you take down a 98K bolt and reassemble it. It's too bad we didn't have matching numbers in there, but what the heck. Like I said, it's still a nice piece. Hey, we're a new channel. If you're liking what you're seeing, please hit like, subscribe, share, leave some comments down below. If you're interested in at any of the factory markings, the 3 character markings, I've got a whole list of them. I could absolutely post those. We do appreciate all the support we're getting. We just crossed the 400 subscriber mark. We are pushing for 1,000. So everybody who is subscribed and paying attention to the channel, your support is much appreciated. We will talk to you soon. Thanks for checking in at Mike's Gun World.